neck. Yeah. And surprisingly, like we attended the same institution, but yeah, in different generations. All right. So yeah, she's a content designer and UX writer with extensive experience in marketing. She's been there, done this and done that in advertising, in customer communications. And she believes that a lot of problems can be solved by communicating to all stakeholders. And that is our goal with every content that she creates, right? She also has a background in media, in SaaS tech, that's software as a service tech, retail distribution tech, and mainly fintech. She holds a postgraduate diploma in mass communication as well as multiple certifications in product design. Man, this girl is loaded, or this woman is loaded rather, right? And all of this always helps her to put the user experience first while designing content. And when she's not designing or chatting with her team, she loves to travel. God, I beg. God, give us this kind of money. She loves to travel. She loves to eat. She also loves to explore other cultures and write about all her travel on her blog. I really need to know where this blog is. Please, maybe send us a link to your blog so that we can enjoy content, premium content. Yeah. Hello, Jadesola. How are you doing today? Hello, Jadesola. Are you there?
Can you unmute yourself, Jadesola? We can't hear you, Jadesola.
I guess network might be messing up with things there. Nigeria just always happens. Fine.
Okay.
Hello, Jadesola, are you there?
Now?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
I
can hear you.
but it's kind of
What is okay? Let me join again because I don't know what's going on. I'll rejoin.
I think we can hear you now.
okay. So while that Jadesola is trying to join up again, I've just seen a few things in the chat. So just tell us what you do, right? And where you got this session from, whether where you learned the session from, whether you learned from it about on a newsletter or Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you're getting to connect from, right? And yeah, so let's just tell us what we do. You might just get to connect with one or two people that
Obi, she's talking, but then we can't hear her. So maybe you address her.
What did you say?
I said she's talking like our speaker, but then we can't hear her.
Okay. Currently, I don't think she's not on the call at the moment. I'm not seeing it from my end.
Okay, I've seen her, but we cannot hear Jadesola.
She's muted now.
Hi, Jadesola. Okay, we can hear you, Jadesola.
Maybe it's because she plugged. She's using her earpiece.
Yeah, we know you can hear us. We can see you, but we can't hear you.
I think it's sometimes airports do that thing.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, because I'm using the issue is I'm using an external camera, so it's you can't see me now. What is going on?
We can hear you. We can see you.
Okay, someone just said I can't see her again. Okay, fantastic. I was getting to wonder what's going on. Like, anyways, hi everyone. So let me share my screen. I probably should have shared my slides because now my Google Meet is telling me to share my entire screen. So if any message comes in, that is personal. I don't know, maybe it will take me like that. Okay, well, that's not gonna happen. I'm just saying. So hi everyone. My name is Jadesola. As I was introduced, I am a content designer at Chipakash. I like the direction that the conversation is already going. Some people are talking about why they're here. Unfortunately, this view, by doing this, I wouldn't be able to see what you are saying. So please feel free to just keep dropping stuff in the chat. If I don't hear the pom, I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask you to discuss. I do that a lot at my sessions. So because it can be somehow a little intimidating if you're like, "Ah, please, are you listening? Can they hear me?" and all of that. So please, I need your energy. So yes, I'm sharing from this screen. Please, I know it's distracting, but it's just so that I can easily switch tabs if I need to. So that's basically it. I love Canva. Let me just put that out there. So yes, my name is Jadesola, and today we'll be talking about UX writing and its impact on digital products. I nicknamed this UX writing for everyone because I was made to understand and I can already see or I can hear that there are a number of UX designers and UX writers here. So basically, like most people that come into UX design or most people that work in UX design in Nigeria or are learning UX design in Nigeria, I think we have a very tiny fraction of people that actually go to school for it. We just probably happen to join at some point. Maybe we go to a school like Perxels and you learn by yourself. It's just, we don't necessarily go to school for it. For me, I was in marketing, right? I started out as a content developer for FormPlus, a data tech company. And from there, I did social media. I also did social media management. And at some point, I noticed that, when we're launching new features, I'll be like, oh, I think I want to do some research on how we should name this feature. Or I want to do some research on how we should put this button. I don't just want it to be, oh, we just name it the way it comes to us as the design team or the engineers. And before you know it, I morphed into that space of actually, okay, how can we make sure that our features are well understood by our users? And that's how I morphed into UX writing. And now, before I now moved on, I think you heard some of these that were said about me, where I said I moved on to retail tech, and now I'm currently in fintech at Cheaper Cash. So yes, for those who are new to it, it happens a lot where you hear. If I look down, please, I'm also looking at my notes right here. So for those that are new to UX writing, right? It happens a lot. I was in a call in my company recently and somebody just asked and like, oh, what exactly is content design? So I would say that a lot, content design and UX writing. I think they're the same thing. It's currently a debate in the content design and UX writing space where they are debating on whether what term to be used. We're not going to argue that today because it can cause fights. We're not doing that today. So I'm just going to stick to UX writing, right? So yes, what UX is writing? I mean, people often confuse a lot of things to be UX writing, right? Some people say, yeah, in marketing, you should be able to do UX writing, right? Is it design and all of that? But I've been able to find a definition that I think works, right? UX writing or content design, I say, is the art of just crafting helpful text that appear throughout the interface of digital products. So these digital products could be a website, a mobile app, sometimes it even stems even to the physical products, right? But I would say that's the best way to put it. So when you land on a website, the buttons that help users to get to, please take note of the word helpful. The buttons that help users to sign up or help them to, if they come, for example, something like Cheaper Cash, that when they come onto the app, oh, I want to be able to claim a virtual card. Every text, everything that they encounter that helps them to achieve those tasks is what out is controlled and designed by UX writing, right? Like Mojoin said, the age of lorem ipsum is fast fading. Please, I can fight you if you hand me a design and I see lorem ipsum, because I'm like, were you actually even thinking of the user in the first place? So I say that age is fading, right? Most digital products are understanding, most teams are understanding that content is a very important part of UX. So it's not enough to just put dummy content and just, go ahead. I want to pause a bit and see if everyone is following and you can all hear me. Oh, great. Are we still together? Please, can you drop a yes in the
Yes,
chat?
yes, yeah.
Yes,
We can hear you.
Awesome. So let me come back to okay, yes. So yes, I think one of the things that I was asked to touch on is, UX writing, what UX writing is not, what copywriting is, and everything. So I'll just focus on the difference between UX writing and copywriting. As much as UX writing is under like the design team, we work with designers, it's still not design, right? You might be required to know how to create mock-ups and wireframes, so that you can communicate to the design team and all of that. But it's still not the same. UX writing is just one of the broad components of user experience design, UX design. UX writing is also not marketing, right? While we might work with the marketing team, sometimes to make sure that marketing isn't over promising to users and all of that, it is also not marketing. Marketing is mainly they want to just advertise the product or service, but the aim of UX writing is to help people understand what the product is about. You are not fluffing or bluffing, you just want to help, right? It's also not content creation. We know content creation involves creation of content on different platforms, text, images, animations, video, whatever. While a UX writer, there are some people that their form of creating content, or for example, speech to text products, or like chatbots, or Alexa, for example. You still need a content designer and a UX writer, even though it's not a medium that people are reading from, but they still need those words to be able to help them understand, right? So there might be different formats for content, but the most important thing is UX writing, content design is basically about helping the user achieve their goals. Now, I would focus on what UX writing, difference between UX writing and copywriting, because this is something we hear it a lot. People just assume that it's the same thing. A UX writer is a copywriter, like that is assumed a lot, right? So what is the difference between UX writing and copywriting? So the creation of content that is a part of and supports the user's experience. I'm not disparaging copywriting or anything like that, but copywriting is like content is being created with the aim of selling something. You land on a website like those one-liners that tell you cheaper cash, move your money freely, right? That is the work of a copywriter. A UX writer will tell you, if I was to change move your money freely, it would be like, log into our app, download the, like, I would basically want to break it down into steps for you so that you can be able to understand the step by step. This is what I need to do. When I get here, this is the next thing I need to do, so that by the time I leave, I'm able to complete my goals, right? UX writing, the content is usually embedded in the products, all those, the labels, the buttons, it's all over the products, right? But copywriting is mainly focused on like for big companies that have copywriters and UX writers, you mainly see their work on the outside, on the landing pages, on social media, so that they can get you to the website. And as soon as you get to the website, they're handing you off to the UX writers, because once you get in, you've converted to the product. They can't keep trying to sell you. You need to be able to understand what you're doing in the product. A UX writer writes, basically designs all the words that are essential to giving a customer a great experience, while a copywriter designs content to attract people to the products. Like they write catchy headlines, witty stuff, which is why I say that anybody can be a UX writer, right? As long as you remember that your aim is just filter out the fluff. Is when it comes to copywriting that you have to look for things that are catchy and punchy and you want to do. But a UX writer, it's just basically write like you talk. You are not trying to overly sell something. Okay, somebody comes to the app. As designers, you've created or you've designed a lovely product or an app. You're now worried, oh, how do I exactly? There are different types of UX writing when you're involved in the research space. okay, how do I exactly explain and make sure this thing is looks prettier? You know, I know that's a word that, you know, designers use. Just basically look at the product you've designed. How do I want to make sure that people understand? Instead of using a button like sign up for free to do this, okay, how can I make it like, okay, sign up? They understand what they want to do, right? They're able to understand the product and do things easily. I got this image from the Nelson Norman group. I know a number of users know that. I linked that here. I'll probably share the slide after. Copywriters basically use sexy words to try to attract customers. UX writers try to, there's a word that I've tried to remove that from my vocabulary, but that's basically what it is. We try to dumb things down, right? How can you make things very simple, easy to understand, right? So copywriters often, they work with the marketing team. UX writers are more on the design side, which is why I'm here, basically. Copywriters tell stories. UX writers, they share conversations, you know. I recently read a book on the art of conversational design, and just reminded me of how we need to interact with, or as designers or people in the designs on the design side of things, we often forget that the way people consume things, nobody has time to probably go through like a block of text and things like that. We need to remember that people are interacting with systems the way they interact with each other. So if your system or what you've designed, whatever you've designed, doesn't, even if it is something that people are going to read, if it doesn't read like a human, you are going to lose people. So it's as a UX writer, it's for us to draft out those conversations. Oh, when someone comes in, I want to send money. If you go to the bank and you're talking to the teller, how do you talk to them and say you want to send money? You wouldn't use words that people cannot exactly, they don't use in day-to-day conversations, which is the way designers, you are not, so I know the principles of design, you're not supposed to try and reinvent the wheel or trying to do something different when you know that people already have forgotten those principles. They know what they're used to, right? So you should try to make sure your design embodies everyday life, not trying to bring something that is like overly, you know, different. So yes, typically UX writers' work is seen in, you know, button labels, forms. This is for people that you're not sure of where exactly or what kind of things you'll be doing. So the sign-up forms, the navigation menus, error messages. I have a couple of examples later on in the slide. The disclaimers that people do, I agree to all of that. I do a lot of that in my daily work. Info copy, help text, notifications, emails, you know. These are some of the things that you work on as a UX writer. I'm going to pause there. Okay. I'm going to pause here. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Sorry for the infinity mirror, but I don't know how else to come back here without causing it. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Are we still together? Because I need to see a barrage of yeses before I go ahead. Okay, thank you, UK. Awesome. Okay, so let me come back here. Fun fact, I actually like this infinity mirror thing. Anytime I see it makes me really happy. I don't know, I'm weird like that. My colleagues know me and they wonder why I love seeing it. So yes, now we come to the value prop thing. So I tried not to make this what's the word now? I wasn't sure of the proportion of UX writers and UX designers that were in. So I didn't do like the practical steps of principles of UX writing, which is creating clear, concise, conversational content. But I'm going to talk about them. And I have another version of these slides that have that. So I'll probably share the two at the end of the class. So yes, how understanding value, the value that you bring as a UX writer, right? So for some context, this is a number of people have mentioned it. I forgot to say, like they just heard about the term. It's something I hear about a lot. They just heard about the term, you know, and not a lot of people are encouraged to they are not sure, not, I won't say encourage, they're not sure of what exactly you'll be doing as a UX writer. I've actually seen cases where recently I met a speech pathologist. It's a big word, but basically helps, developmental children to develop like speech. She's a speech pathologist. She's now a UX writer. I've met UX designers that become UX writers. I've met engineers that become UX writers. I've not seen Nigerians that do that though. So I understand that that might be a little tricky, but I tell people that even as I'm a UX writer, I'm currently learning design. I'm currently learning taking the Google UX design course. So at some point, if you decide that you want to switch and become a UX writer, that's not a base. I mean, you've discovered your, will I say, passion, or you've discovered the part that you want to niche down and focus on, and which is great. So yes, we'll just talk about what the value of UX writing is, right? Like I said, the Nigerian tech scene doesn't have a lot of UX writers, even for some foreign companies as well. We have a number of people that they don't even know they are doing UX writing. We have UX researchers that doubling as content designers or UX writers. We have PMs that are also doing that work. A number of people, they are yet to come. We're still in the stage where it's still nascent, where we're trying to explain the value or why businesses need UX writers. And for the users, I mean, I can't say this enough. UX writing just basically helps them, like good UX writing. They can't be bad. Good UX writing helps them complete tasks easily, right? You see, people go to products and they're like, oh, I don't even know why I like this product so much. Something like a Duolingo, for example. You come to Duolingo, you are delighted, you are excited to learn a language. It's apart from like the animations, the illustrations, and all those little things that tell you, hey, you need to come sign into the app to continue learning. Those things that say, oh, we miss you, oh, Duo is proud of you. Those things like that. Those are the things that help you. They encourage you to fall in love with your product, right? The internet has got, except if you are like doing something that is super specific that people have no choice, and no matter how shitty the product is, they just come back. But you need to be able to find a way to balance the functionality of your product and the design and the emotional part of it, that people are okay, the product works, but I also like the way they make me, like, I'm happy to come there because I am able to live there and live there by completing the task I want. So these are some of the things I say is the value of UX writing, and to the business, because it's very important. You need to also know your value, because there will come a time, even as UX designers, there will come a time where you need to communicate value to the business, right? As much as, you want to help the user and all of that, you need to be able to show the business that your role is to, as you're helping users complete their goal, you're also helping the company to make whatever metrics it is to increase conversions. You're helping the company to make more money. So it helps you by the time you want to ask for, I need money to conduct research or something like that. Everybody will be like, okay, you've actually been helping, you've actually been doing something. So you're able to tie that to your own goals as a UX writer. So now, why would I say it even matters, right? Why in the world does it matter? Some people say you can even just go without it if your product works. I'll say there are billions of apps. I've alluded to this before, right? There are billions of apps, websites, and pages. Except I don't know what idea. Like if you have that kind of idea that is like one in 10, or nobody has done it before, please, maybe you are building the next day Stack or Stripe or something. Please don't leave me by. Don't let it be like the Ark and Noah. Please, I don't want to be that, here. But right now, there's almost always like people are doing similar things, right? And even with designers, we've seen that the app interfaces that designers are making is lighter, is airier, is, everybody wants to save space and all of that. And if the words that are used on interfaces are not well thought out, or they're not intentional in terms of how clear, useful, and guiding it is for the user, such products will not convert. So it's important that as you are designing or you want to make something beautiful, the gradient should grade, this should be like the words on the pages also matter. Like, it's as important as designing something that is beautiful or making the interactions pop, because you're competing against several people. So you need to be able to make sure that you are clear, useful, you are guiding, and people are able to just, again, just make a product that works. Now, another reason or why UX is important, right? It generally improves the product. You see, one thing that I keep on saying is that Apple, right? They don't optimize. A lot of Apple things are not, they're optimized for people that are already tech savvy. If you get a MacBook as somebody that has not used a Mac before or has not used a laptop before, the way you are going to struggle, you cannot, the struggle is a lot. I look at something, some empty space, empty states, and I'm like, did they know that there are some people that they are not tech savvy that will pick up these products? And that's the reason why adults and older people like the Facebook and the, what do they call it, and WhatsApp, right? It's easy for them to get on there and do what they need to do. It's not like, it's when you come and start trying to teach them something else that maybe they've seen somewhere. But if it's like the basics, go, read something, comment, share a post. Like, it's very easy. Facebook, the buttons are well labeled, the error messages say what they need to say. It doesn't mean like, Facebook is right. If you see some of their error, what do they call it? Error states, it's terrible, right? But some of those things can be forgotten. But it's just an example of how words matter. That's why a lot of products heavily invest in A/B testing, content research. It's never just words, right? You see, I have an example, right? On my next, yes, exactly. This is even Facebook, right? This is the same, literally the same page. This is it on mobile, right? They know that, okay, they've been able to, on desktop, they know that they need to save space. And the amount of people that are coming on desktop are a little bit, they are more tech savvy. But on mobile, the audience is a little more, is general, right? So instead of you leaving the icons to just be photo, video, and all, like, these icons will not tell you anything unless you hover. But on mobile, what have they done? They've been able to explain, okay, this green stuff is for photo. If you want to upload a photo, click on it. If I was to improve this, I'll probably say upload photo or video. Tag, like, let it be action-based, upload photo or video. The way you've done tag feeling, feeling activity will be share a feeling or how are you feeling or something like that. Just the way they've made the others action, live video will be start live video, which brings me to my second point, right? UX writing matters because it helps you have a better brand image. As much as people say, oh, Facebook is this, they're sharing a lot of misinformation and all, people still go back. Why? Because you're able to do what you need to do. You need to see what is trending. Go on Facebook. This is a political season. People keep on saying that Facebook is where you know the real minds of, after Naira Land, Facebook is where you know the minds of people. You're able to get a broad audience, right? And these days, branding is very important. Okay, branding has always been important, but you want to create a brand, you want to have a positive relationship with your users, right? It's very important that you focus on UX writing. What kind of emotions do you want to leave people with? Just the way designers are focused on what colors to associate with the brand, all those things. It's also how the words that you use can help you establish that positive relationship. And that the right microcopy, like I just mentioned, it helps you impact your users' emotions and intentions, right? I literally just finished a voice and tone guide. For UX people that are familiar with UX writing and all, you know that it's super important. If you are creating buttons, labels, you know, you want to just start, you can't just jump in and just start saying, oh, I want to start working on things. What exactly are you working on? Like for you to start creating text, you need to be able to have a voice and tone guide that you can refer to and say, okay, if I want to create, if somebody comes to me and say, oh, we need to create, we're working on a new product, to be able to send money to Abek. What does send money to? If we want, okay, we want to send money. Let's say we're working on sending to another cheaper product, right? You come and say, send to, want to create a send to cheaper. What is our voice and tone guide saying? Who are the people that we're planning to create this product for? Then you can now work with the voice and tone guide and then go on to like create. We have a lot of content style guides in the original version of these slides. I have some of them that I've mentioned. MailChimp is a good example. Shopify, Polaris, Google Material Design, just a number of like content style guides that by the time you see it, you know that yes, people are intentional about the words that they use. At least, and as much as we say Jira is very, very stressful, every word they use, they know that a high percentage of people that use their product are tech savvy. So they try to make sure that everything is aligned with their brand, right? So it gives you a better brand image. Your product seems more human, and at least, which is why I don't know the reason why some people, but there's a reason why people will go for Paystack instead of Flutterwave, and there's a reason why people will go for Flutterwave instead of Paystack, right? So it's super important. And now it's a booming niche. I mean, I can't stress this enough. Sometimes someone asks me to do something, please, Jadesola, we need this great content, and they're already worried that they're stressing me. I'm like, what exactly is it going? Before you know it, it's something that I probably do in 30 minutes. But they're worried, oh, I know it takes a lot of, but I'm like, it comes easy to me, right? It's years of experience. If you ask me, I can just work on, maybe use something I've worked on before and just layer things on. It just comes easy to me, right? And as a growing niche, it has been around for time, since time immemorial, right? It's a growing niche in UX design. If you feel that, you know, UX design is a lot to do, I don't know, but many and you know how to write, or you have, and like you think you can do it, right? Like I always encourage people, there are a lot of resources and all, and you can start where you are, start building a portfolio. Fun fact, I don't have a portfolio, but I've been able to get jobs. Don't be like me, work on your portfolio. So yes, let me pause here. I just realized I'm almost as, yes, Duolingo has the best, yes, exactly. Are we still together? Are we still together? Can I
Yes,
see?
yes. You could hear you.
Awesome. 5 yeses. Okay, yeah, we're good. Let's go on. So yes, it's also a booming niche. Yes, get paid to do what comes to you. These days, more and more companies, as much as we say, not a lot of companies are, more companies are realizing the need to bridge that user intent, what the user wants to do, and the business goals. And like, okay, we can. I can't count the amount of times people reach out to me. Oh, we want to tell users. Oh, for example, people have been sending money to the wrong cheaper account. How can we do it? We need to stop it. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's do it like this. Create some text, do this, do that, work on the wireframe, and we're able to solve it. And like just those little things. And business comes up like, oh, we've been able to reduce the amount of people that are sending money to the wrong cheaper account. I'm like, didn't I tell you that content will have worked? Thank you. So, and if you're able to cement yourself as a UX writer that knows yourself, you command both respect and the big box. I didn't want to put it aside, I'm bragging about. As a UX writer, even as much as you say it's a niche, listen, I've been able to speak at big events, and I'm grateful to even be able to be here to speak to people. It's something I love doing, and I'm grateful. It's a booming niche, right? A thing to call out, right? While applying to jobs, a number of people are still not sure. You see UX writer, content designer, like they're not sure of what to title these roles. If it's something that, again, I know there are majority of UX designers here or product designers here. If it's something that you are inclined to, just take some time out and read the description, right? Then you decide if it works for you. I think I also say that with the design rules, right? Be sure to don't just stop at the title. Read the description. Be sure it's something that okay actually works for you or works for what you want to do and all. So yes, it's also a great skill set to have. Now I'm speaking directly to the designers. The best designers that I work that I work with in my company are the ones that because sometimes as a content designer or UX writer, you're lucky to come on new projects, right? This is you are there from the user research phase before they start designing anything and all. Like it happens. But a lot of times when you're joining an existing company, you're working on existing projects, right? So maybe the screens have already been designed and it's for you to like review and see what labels and things need to be done. The best designers I've worked with, right, are those who, by the time I'm coming to those screens, I'm just basically changing a few things. I'm not seeing Lorem Ipsum everywhere. I always like working with those designers. Like I'm confident in the work that they do, right? By the time I'm reviewing, I don't have to worry. There are some designers that I'm always worried anytime they tag me. Immediately they tag me on a Figma doc. I'm running there because I know that they've scattered everything, right? So please don't be that designer, right? It's a great skill set to have. You can take some time out. I wanted to make sure that this was like super introductory, right? Take some time out. The slides I'll share with you, second slide, I have like, principles that you can use, how-tos on how to create like clear, concise copy. And, and I mean, it's something that they even tell in design, right? If all else fails and you don't know, go and copy in a good way, but don't leave out that product in a way that will not help your user, right? So yes, I think I told myself I was going to stop when I was 7:40 so that I will have at least 20 minutes to answer questions. So yes, we've come to the end of my very short talk. So let's go on to I'll definitely share the slides. Do we have any questions? I need to stop sharing now so that I don't continue my infinity mirror. Do we have any questions? Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Jadesola. It's been a very insightful section, and I'm sure we've learned a lot from this. So this will be a very good time for us to take questions. All right, if you have a question, you can please raise your hands, and in pecking order, I would be taking questions. Looks like today we have time for about 3 to 5 questions. If you have questions, you can just raise your hand. So let us take questions, and we can get on from there. So yeah, in the next 60 seconds, I'll be taking questions. So any question that will give birth to another question, we don't want that right here, because we understand that when people start asking questions, that's when some people will start remembering their questions. So I'll give 60 seconds so that people can indicate that they want to ask questions, and after that, there will not be any other question. Somebody's question will not bring or give birth to your own question. We won't be doing that today. So yeah. Okay. I think I have about 15 seconds to before. Okay. All right, so I have Samuel, God's Power, Taiwo, Splendor, and Fatima. So there will not be any question aside from this, guys. All right, so Samuel Balogun, please ask your question.
Yeah, good
Samuel.
evening, Jadesola. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
I can hear you, please.
Yeah, good evening. So, I want to, my own question is like, and just like, just a quick question though. So I want to know how, I can able, because let me just explain my job. Whenever I'm doing my job, I'm good at writing a very short copy, like a very short copy for my apps, like some of the time I don't like using lorem ipsum also because I believe that our content is attached to that flow which you are working on at that time. And whenever you're working, you have to put that content for you to understand the steps that you've taken in that flow. So I want to know, like, for a long copy that which you want to put on the app, if there is no UX design, UX writer, so can you actually look at maybe copies online and actually tweak it to your own, somehow a little bit tweak it for you to put it on the platform, on the app, on the design as far it works with your flow, and how you can also tweak it. So
I think so I'll give you two things that you can do in that situation. One of the things is like just the way you're also just starting in UX design. There are some people that are just starting in UX writing. I'm a very big fan of collaboration, right? A UX writer that is just starting is also looking out for ways to build their portfolio. So the way you need a portfolio for your designs, they also need for their text. I think that's like the best way you can what's the word? I can't teach you to write in a day or in 30 minutes, right? I think that's the best way to be able to have so that you can present that you like you're confident, right? It's something that somebody will call you out and say, oh, you copied our text and all of that. Then the the example you gave, I'm a big fan of like forgetting what Caleb calls it. Is it sensible copying? Like it's something that works, right? We see people that's how they learn how to design. We'll take a screenshot of a website, recreate it and stuff like that. As long as you are not, you know, in your design, right? You are crediting and saying, oh, text got in from here. Everybody knows that like what you are showing is the design, not the text. If you are showing off the text, that's when there will be a problem. But if it's the design that you're showing off, basically saying, oh, I got the text from this website, you can put that small caveat in your portfolio or in the this thing that you're working on. Oh, I tweaked the web things from this website. Anybody that is reviewing you for the designs will probably not even take note of the text. Even when they are doing for the text, they're like, oh, actually, this text should have been this, should have been that. But if it's for the designs, they'll probably look at the gradients, the buttons and all of that. So yes, I'll say you can do those two things. For as a UX designer. I hope I've answered your question.
yes, please, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so who's next? I think Fatima. Where did it go?
Hello. Hello.
Hi. Is that Fatima? Fatima, you can go ahead.
No,
Ask.
it's not Fatima. It's Gospel. I'm next.
Okay, Gospel.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gospel, please.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for this session. Well, my question is this: I'm a UI/UX designer, so you talked about one of the best or a good designer to work with is a good designer that doesn't learn ipsum himself or the design and all that. Now, as a UX writer, from what you explained, right, they do the text, the buttons, and all that. So, how best can a designer, right, help a UX writer? That means, let's say you are done designing something. How best, since you have worked with some designers that you think at some point have helped ease the stress for you, how best can a designer ease the stress on a UX for a UX writer? That means I just want to know how a UI or UX designer can help ease the stress for a UX writer.
Okay. My issue with lorem ipsum is not even necessarily like the stress part, right? It's basically if you use lorem ipsum, you're not able to properly account for like space and all of that. It's dummy content. It's just and for some of you, by the time you justify it and all, that's when by the time the UX writer comes and puts text in, they'll be like, oh, you should have told me I had space constraints. I've had those kind of issues before. Or we have you'd be like, oh, you should have added more text and things like that. there's that ambiguity, right? For things like that, I'll give an example. Maybe my colleague works on something. Oh, we're working on a page for verification, right? And we are saying, oh, we need people to be able to upload their ID and all of that. She says, oh, this page should include upload ID and all of that. She puts the 1, 2, 3 upload ID, put your BVN, something like that. Rather than putting lorem ipsum, right? This is what she does. And I think, a number of people can do it. Take something that says, oh, maybe one of the docs, the what did the KYC documents, one of the legal requirements. Legal says this is important because the reason why we're asking for this particular thing is because, and it helps me to even remember, right? The reason why we're asking for people to upload their ID is because of a financial regulation or something like that. This is required. So by the time I come and I want to craft content for that, I'm saying, oh, upload your ID because, sorry, we need this to comply with financial regulations or something like that. It just gives like a background. I'm saying, okay, we can build on this. I can see that this is one of the things that I need to include in the content. Like let me just simplify that. The designer has given me something to say, okay, this must be included in the content. I don't know how you want to do it. But instead of just putting lorem ipsum, and they'll come and say, oh, actually, LRC legal said, oh, you need to change this. But they've already hinted me with some of the things that are required, right? It can be something from the legal document or just a line, just something that helps me to understand that, oh, when you're thinking of the text that should be here, think in this direction. So I think that's something that can help your research documents, the things that you want to tell with that space. You can just put that there instead of you going the old lorem ipsum and dummy content. Just something from your research document that speaks to what you're doing on that space. And I think that would definitely be better than lorem ipsum. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Power. Taiwo Farouk, please ask your question.
Okay, hello, good evening, everyone. And I want to thank everyone for the opportunity. Pixels, thank you for this opportunity. So my question is that, is it really for, is it really okay for someone to like just focus on studying UX alone, not about even the design? Like, is it possible for you to just, okay, I want to do a UX, I want to be a UX writer, not even a designer at all? Like, maybe not having a little bit of sense of designer, just like, okay, I want to focus on this career of UX writing. Like, how is that? Or must the UX writer have, let me say, a sense of design, maybe ability to design or something like that? So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. I'll say you don't need it to start, right? Applying to my current job, it wasn't one of the things that made me it was my writing that made me to stand out, right? By the time I spoke to my manager at some point, I said, oh, why did you hire me out of the other people that, like, it was basically the writing skill, right? To start or to come in, you don't necessarily need to, right? Because it's a lot. You're learning how to write, you're learning how to create. Yeah, it's a lot to do at once. But for you to go, because I recently had to work on like our career guide for content designers. Okay, what should a senior content designer be able to do? What should a content design lead be able to do? Things like that. By the time I did my research, everybody was saying, oh, should be able to understand wireframing, prototyping, and all of that. They're not even saying you should be able to create designs and all, but for you to be able to understand and you can interpret and you can put together a wireframe to be able to explain like a content idea that you have, right? So to start or to get into UX writing, it's not necessary. It's a nice to have skill. But for you to go further, like for you to progress as a content designer, like for you to be like, I don't know, so for you to be known, I would say you need to at least pick up some design skills at some point. You definitely need to. But to start, no, not necessarily. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I understand that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Farouk, for your question. And Splendor, please ask your
Fa-
question.
Hello, good
Fatima
evening.
is next. She's been waiting since.
Okay.
In the way it is right here on my app, so it's Splendor's hands before Fatima.
Okay.
All right. Can you guys hear?
Yeah,
Can you guys hear me?
2 minutes
Splendor, please go
remaining.
on.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so because I'm just this is my first time in a UX writing class.
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask, what's the specialty of UX writing? And again, I was going to ask, I was actually going to ask, like, do we need UX writing to write in UI UX? But I actually understand that now. So I'm going to ask, where in UI UX exactly do we need UX writing? Yeah.
Okay. So are you saying like where? Okay. When you say what's the specialty, I do you mean like what parts of the app or what parts of the product?
Yeah, what part of the product? The product.
Okay.
Is it special to use to have UX writing skills?
Okay.
Yes.
Right from right. Once your users click download the app and they've downloaded the app and they click on it to say, oh, they want to sign up. That's where UX writers work starts, right? So all the welcome to our app, sign up because you do this, right? Those labels, the text and all of that, it's a UX writer's job. The buttons that say, oh, sign up, log in, register for free, all of that. It's a UX writer's job to make sure that people actually click on those buttons and they actually do what they're supposed to do. So after doing that, coming into the app, the whatever the app is, whether it's Cowrywise, Piggyverse, whatever it is, you say, welcome. Now verify your account. Oh, send money. Oh, what's the word now? Add a friend if it's Facebook, share a tweet. Those texts, if it's something like Twitter, you can see the box that says what's happening today or upload a photo. Those labels, right? The buttons, the home page, the things on the side that says your profile. That's okay. Should it be profile or your personal space? Should it be my settings or settings? Should it be those things that you're taking advantage of the space, you're taking advantage of what it should look like. I'll say those are the things that fall under a UX writer's job. So those are talking about the things within the app. All the I agree to sign up to your app. I agree to not do this. Even the emails that you send out to user, oh, welcome to the app. Thank you for joining. This is what you can now do. Those are the things that, like, if I was to compress and say what is a UX writer's job, yeah, those are the things within a product or a website that fall under UX writing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you very much. So Fatima, please, you can ask your question. Hello, Fatima. Please, you can unmute your mic and ask your question. Fatima, are you there? Okay. While we're waiting for Fatima to answer a question, Jadesola, please, there are some questions in the comments. If you just kind of attend to them at once. So somebody's saying how
did
you
I do
hear
with
me?
it? Yes.
Okay, so
No worry, I
how
can.
did you?
I'll just go through them. I was actually even going to say, let me just go through the questions quickly. How did I do with the new
Okay.
portfolio bits? Well, the thing is, I have a number. So it's not, I wouldn't say I don't have a I don't have like a website or like a page that I say this is my portfolio, but I have like stuff that you can easily find and Google, right? So I work for FunPlus, which is an app that is currently live working and all of that. You can easily sign up or do a free trial and you just see, oh, I worked there. send the message to somebody. Trade Depot, you can see the work I did there. Basically, the work I've done or the articles I've published, it's all online, right? I try to link them. So that's what I've been able to do. If you ask me what's your portfolio, I'll just go and copy those links and I put them there, right? But I'm trying to change. Don't be like me. That's the most important. Don't be like me. So as how do you get started with UX writing, knowing fully well that you struggle with content? Honestly, in life, I think I don't want to sound like a broken record, but everything is practice, to be honest. I know somebody that is currently trying to switch from business operations to UX writing, right? And how is she doing it? She's taking advantage of I think there's this thing called daily UX writing challenge. She's also doing the Google UX design course because she's even trying to choose between design and UX design and UX writing. But is practicing, right? If you notice something, I still do it. I have screenshots of some apps that don't just work, or some messages I'm like, why is somebody writing this? Rewrite these things, right? And the most important thing, I think, which is why I probably didn't even talk about the principles as much. Write like you, except if you use a lot of superfluous or big language in in the way you talk to people. Write like you're talking to somebody, right? If you've designed an app or you want, like, it's an error message, what do you need the person to do? Okay, this is an error. I need you to do this or try again later. Just write like you're talking to people. I think that's the best way, and just continue practicing. That's before you come to it should be clear, it should be concise and all of that. Once you start to write like you're talking to people, then you can now say, you need to shorten it. This is the space you have. And all that. You can now start to follow the principles. But I'll see that's how to basically get started, UX writing. Yeah. Are there any sites where we can edit our texts? I don't really understand that question, to be honest. Ola in Canada. Do you want to explain a bit? Is Canada still here?
While Olayinka is okay, Olayinka, please go on.
Okay, I thank you very much for this wonderful session. So the question, what I actually meant is, like the way they have the whole Grammarly, Watson and Co. So I was asking if there is, or if it's advisable to use those application or websites to find a good way to coin your words that you use for the website.
I mean, those websites will only help you with like errors, and I use Grammarly. I even use the premium version. I use Grammarly. But like you're supposed to look at it. They won't tell you to write like this, or except for Grammarly will tell you, do you want to sound more informal and all of that. But it's mainly to check your errors, you're using the correct grammar and all of that. I recommend Grammarly. I think that's the only one that's the one I use, right? People like, if you're worried about how it sounds or whatever, sharing with people. I sometimes ask my husband, what do you think about this word? Should I use this word? I do that a lot. Asking your friends as well. You don't what's the word now? I don't disparage the people around me, my friends. I send them WhatsApp. What do you think if you come in contact with this word? Like, I won't give them a lot of context, so that, because it's supposed to be for users, right? So if you come across this phrase, do you think it's going to help you? Like, what do you think, basically? So yes, I'll say those are like my two top. I hope I've answered your question well, because that's the way.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, Fatima, if you're still there, you can just tell us your question. Okay, so while we're waiting for Fatima, not necessarily waiting, but thank you so much, Jadesola, for today's session. It's been really, really insightful. So if you can share the slides, maybe the link to the slide, is this something that we can access? Something that we can always go back to?
So my plan was that I was going to share it with the Perxels team and you share it with everybody that registered. That
Okay.
was my plan.
Okay. I think
Right.
that's fine, and that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so I think that's the best way because I can't drop it here. Oh, there's someone that wants to ask a quick question.
I don't think we have time for that. So, yeah. So, Jadesola, please, where can we find you if we want to like find you when it comes to UX? Like, where can we find you? So, in case anybody wants to ask any question, their questions can be personalized later on. Yeah. So, okay, to find you. So, these are our socials.
Yeah, this is
on
my
Twitter.
Twitter. If you have serious questions, LinkedIn, you can send to me on LinkedIn. Twitter, you can also don't send me serious something on Instagram. We will not this thing, but LinkedIn, so LinkedIn and Twitter are like two ways to contact me. I'll share the link. I'll drop the link in the chat, but it will also be in the slides. So yeah. I think
That makes a lot of sense. So I'm just actually trying. I've seen your YouTube page. I'm really interested in your YouTube channel, right? Just to see stuff that you're doing. Inside Makoko Market. That's nice. Okay, so I'll check it out, and if I like it, I'll subscribe.
that's fine. John Wisdom.
All right. So thank you so much.
John Wisdom has not. John Wisdom has the person that wants to ask a quick question.
You want him to ask the question? Okay.
Yeah, you
so
said we have some time for.
Wisdom, you can ask your question. Please keep it very short and go straight to the point. Wisdom.
Okay, good evening, Jadesola. Good evening. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Yeah, I just want to quickly ask if there's going to be like another session like this where you're going to be handling it. Actually, like joined in late, so I kind of missed some parts. Just wanted to ask if there's going to be another session like this.
Oh, that's fun.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
He's asking if there's going to be another session for on UX
Okay,
right.
so
I said that's for you.
Okay, so for this this year, I'm not sure there'll be any other session on UX writing. We have like in November we have back-to-back gaming sessions that are focused on improving experiences on digital focused products from Web3 to logistics to fintech, all of that. But definitely in the future we'll definitely be doing maybe something like a series on writing and improving copies on digital focused products. Yeah. So Fatima, are you there? God bless. I think Fatima is not on the call, so probably you can chat up Jadesola later on, so you can get in touch with her. Yeah, so we've come to the end of the MA session today, and it's been super insightful. It's been really interesting. I've learned